we always had fireworks on 4th of July, and our fireworks started a little brush fire across the bay, and Donnie Vorpal and Kevin had to swim across and put the fire out. We had bonfires every weekend, and when we first went down, Grandma Helwig was alive, and even though she was near 80, she would go down on the dock and bait the hook for Michelle and Jason and teaching them how to fish. And then Grandma died, and the first week they were down to the cottage after that, they wanted to fish, and I said, okay, you can go out fishing. Well, Grandma, aren't you going to come out and bait our hook? I said, this grandma does not bait hooks. So they had to learn to bait their own hook. And I think Jason was casting and did get a hook in Michelle somehow. She was squealing pretty loud. But the men around took care of that. I didn't have to deal with that either. But we had some good times down there. We always had a big willow tree at the river, and it was nearly, the trunk was 4 or 5 feet around. It was a big tree. And Larry and Kevin always had a tree fort. And it must have had a million nails, because all you ever heard them, they had to be called in for meals. They'd be out there pounding nails in that tree fort, and all you ever heard was pounding. So there had to be a million nails in that tree fort. So when we bought Rushford, and I saw this great big willow tree down on the shore, I said, this is it. We've got to have this place, because it's got the same willow tree as was at the river. That willow tree's long gone now, because Kevin filled out the shoreline and put a break wall in and so forth. But the willow tree was at Rushford, and Jason and Adam built a 2-story tree fort in that tree. And it was once again pounding from morning till night, except when you called them for a meal. So there had to be a million nails in that tree fort too. So we had some good times down there. Kids pitched tents, and when we ran out of sleeping room, we had the Amish build us a barn next to the cottage. And we had a loft in the barn, and we had army cots up there and blow-up mattresses, and we could put up about 21 people. And of course, that always called for cooking chowder, and they just loved chicken chowder, and we would smoke meat, and we always had plenty to eat, and we'd have some good times down there.